Today I'm going to tell you the story about how I stole hundreds, if not at least 1,000, from a certain store which I will not name. As a child, I don't like record videos by day and at night sneak into stores and start stealing things. No. There's a lot to this story, but let's just jump into it. We've reacted to many story booth and things like that, and you know, I've told stories on this channel before, like previously the time that I was stalked at Hot Topic, or at least it really felt like I was stalked at Hot Topic. Okay, check out that video if you missed it after this video, of course. Now, before we jump into exactly why did I decide to steal so many things from a department store? And before you start judging me, okay, I gotta give you guys the context, okay? You're probably thinking like, oh, I thought Bijuu McGee was really good, but now he's canceled. Just because I'm amazing now doesn't mean I wasn't a little piece of crap that was stupid. Like, okay, when I was a child, I was raised in a Christian home, I would say, you know? Basically, I would just get dragged to church by my family, where at church they would scream. It was really old school, okay? If you're a Christian, or, you know, maybe not even a Christian, I'm sure maybe other, like, you know, Catholics and other people, you know, do things like this as well. But like, you know, they'd put me in there, I'd sit down like a good little boy, and they'd start screaming about why I was gonna go to heck. And of course, the stealing didn't really help that, did it? I think it just goes to show that I really didn't listen. So like, yeah, I was raised a good little Christian boy. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I mean, I would say for the most part, I was raised to not do bad things. Of course, my parents weren't really there. They weren't really all there in the head. So like, they never really told me to do anything, but I would feel like for the most part, I was a good kid. But I think that there was probably some opportunities where I slipped up a little bit. Now, I did forget to mention one thing. I did steal a lot of things from this certain store that will not be named, but I didn't do it intentionally. Let me tell you about the time I actually did intentionally steal something, and let me tell you how bad it went. Also, when I was growing up, I would hang around with my sister, and you know, I didn't really have too many friends growing up. I had one or two, maybe at the most. But for the most part, I was with my sister and my cousins, and they were basically my, not only family, but my best friends. I would just always be with them for whatever reason. And trust me, they would do some stupid things. So, you know, it probably kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. Well, one of my cousins in particular that is actually in prison today, it all makes sense now. He was known for doing the most ridiculous things, and at the time I thought, hey, this is actually kind of funny. For instance, he would climb on top of stores. Like, I'm talking really tall stores, like big department stores where, like, you know, it's a big old like mall kind of deal. He would go to their access ladder. Don't know how he did it, the little monkey. Go up there and steal the fake owls that were up there. Have you guys ever seen those plastic owls? He would go up there and steal them and collect them as trophies. Like, who does that? I really don't know who does that. At the time, I thought it was just really impressive that he was able to climb the ladder. Like, I was too amazed to question, you know, the whole stealing thing. But among the items that he would steal, one of those things was demo discs that you would find in magazines. These video game magazines were like the best thing ever because like I was so poor when I was growing up. We did have a PlayStation, so I guess we weren't totally poor, but I didn't have any games. All I had was demos. I would play Spider-Man demo over and over and over again. I mean, the PlayStation was probably stolen too. I don't know where it came from. All I knew is that, hey, video games. So every time this new issue of this gaming magazine would come out where they would include the demo disc that had a bunch of demos, so it's like, you know, awesome. We wouldn't pay for the magazine that was like, what, probably like $7, $8 to $10 or something like that. My cousin would go in there and steal it, bring it back to my house, and yay, I had video games. Well, one day I must have been really bored because my cousin wasn't around, but guess what? A new issue of this gaming magazine came out, and I needed some new video games to play. Now, I really don't have an excuse for this. I knew it was stealing. I knew it was bad, but we did it so often and we never got caught that it really at the time seemed like this was a great solution, okay? David's mom, I'm not telling anyone to steal. I'm saying that it's bad, okay? I'm gonna get so many emails now, okay? I mean, I knew it was bad when we have to look, you know, keep looking both ways. But at any rate, you know, I walked in there by myself thinking that I wouldn't get caught. And what did I do? I tore open that magazine, I checked the demo out, stuffed it in my pants, my pocket, whatever, I don't remember, and I walked on out. I got out the door thinking I'm scot-free, but soon as I walk out, an employee comes out and grabs me and asks me, did I steal something? I don't even remember what I said at this, like, to this day, but I probably denied it and said no. And he's like, oh, I do remember him saying, well, I did see you, I seen you do it. Now, see, I wasn't smart enough at the time to realize that there was this room, like, on the top floor, basically where they can watch you at all times, where they're actually watching the cameras. Well, they must have been onto us at this point and would probably constantly look at this aisle and, you know, wait, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if they had wanted posters of our faces because we did do it quite often. So they caught me, they took me upstairs, and I got to see the camera room myself. That's where they threatened to call the cops on me. Now, I realized that they probably weren't gonna actually call the cops on me because, you know, it was, even though stealing is obviously wrong and I was really stupid for doing it, it was a really petty crime, and I was just a little kid that obviously wasn't really, I didn't know any better at the time. I'm really glad they showed mercy on me and decided not to call the cops. Now, I think they just said I wasn't allowed to go in there. It didn't stop me. I actually kept going in there. Why? Because they had like really cheap candy bars and sodas. Again, remember, I'm poor. I want to go in there and get myself a fast break, which is a Reese's. I don't know why they stopped selling these. These things were like crack. They were like Reese's freaking bars. So good. Reese's bars, that's like my favorite like candy bar or candy. It's peanut butter and chocolate. Like, what's not to like? So that was the time that I actually stole something on purpose, knowing that stealing was bad. And, you know, I just have no excuses for it. But now that leads me to stealing a lot of stuff. I'm talking a lot of stuff. The funny part about this is I think I was even older than I was when I stole the demo disc. But yet, I really didn't know I was stealing. I know that sounds really, really stupid. But anyway, I had this friend at school, okay? I don't even know where he came from. We just, out of nowhere, out of the blue, just started hanging out, and I don't even know why. I remember that we went to school for many years. We never ever talked, but for some reason, we decided to talk one day, and then we started hanging out. I'm not gonna say his real name, but we'll call him Jamie. His name was Jamie. That's a guy's name, right? I imagine the reason why we started hanging out was probably because of Dragon Ball Z. You know, we had the same interests. Basically, every friendship that I've ever made in my life consisted is like, hey, do you like Dragon Ball Z? Yeah! Oh man, you remember that one time when Gohan fought Cell? Like, that would legit be like how we would start our conversations. So, you know, I think we did that. Well, we started hanging out more frequently, and he told me something that was really, really amazing to me at the time. He said, oh, hey, Michael. All right, he probably said that. You want to go get like this new Mortal Kombat video game? Okay, David's mom, I know Mortal Kombat's bad. All right, we played those things when we were little. You want to go get this brand new game? And I think I said, yeah, that would be great, but except I'm broke and I steal demo discs. And to that he replied, it's okay. I have a, we'll just say Walmart's credit card. It wasn't Walmart, but I will say it was very similar. He said, and we're little kids, he said, I have a Walmart credit card. And you know what I did? I believed him, not knowing what credit is. I barely know what credit is today or what a credit card is today. You think I knew when I was a little piece of crap? No, I didn't. So I was like, yeah, I have a credit card. We can just go in there, I'll swipe the credit card or I'll give it to it. Now that I think about it too, it's like bringing up memories. He said he knew someone there. He can just give the credit card to the guy and then it'll just be paid for. I don't know what the heck I believe. Why did I believe him? But I truly, with all my heart, believed what he said at the time. And so we would walk in there, probably get the game. I mean, I imagine someone got it out for us because usually they locked them up, and we would just walk right out. Like, I'm not even joking. And I would just assume that, you know, hey, everything's cool. Because no one ever caught us. And we did this time and time again, like so many times. Like, I don't even think I can remember everything that we got out of this store, but I do remember some specific things. Like, for instance, rollerblades. When I was growing up, one of my favorite games that I ever played was Jet Set Radio. For when, you know, when we had an Xbox before my mom took it back. Oh wait, no. Before my mom claimed that it was stolen, my Xbox wasn't stolen, but that was another thing that I believed because apparently I was a gullible, stupid child. Stolen in my house was just codename for I sold it. So now the whole parents not being the best is kind of clicking, I think, at this point, huh? So I was into Jet Set Radio, which was a game about rollerblading, so I really like to rollerblade. You know, my mom probably did buy me some skates, probably not, you know, some cheap skates that we can get at the same store, let me mind you. But I couldn't get the best ones. Well, now that we had a Walmart's credit card, we could get anything we want because apparently there was no limit on this credit card. Because why? We walked in there and we got the best skates that they had and we walked out carrying this big box. Okay, these are little kids carrying this big box, no bag. We walked right out of there, put our skates on, and we just went. We just went our merry way. And I remember those were the smoothest, most nicest skates that I ever owned. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Oh, and remember how I mentioned Dragon Ball Z? Well, they had a card game, if you don't remember, or I think they still do, but it's totally different now. We stole every card they had, like, to be honest, we really did. And I had so many cards. I didn't know how to play the game, but I said, hey, it's Dragon Ball Z. I remember he would come to my house. We would sit on my trampoline and he would pull out all of these Dragon Ball Z cards. We would open them and it was just free stuff. Like, you know, imagine a kid having access to free stuff and no parental supervision for either one of our parents. We stole cards. I probably stole Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I remember I had a Super Saiyan 3 Goku toy that lit up. It was freaking awesome. Went in there, grabbed it, walked out. What I want to know from this whole situation is who's running this store? No one cared. No, there was no security. And at that time, there was protection. Like, you know, there were supposed to be these things on the merchandise that you would buy. And when you walk out, it's supposed to kind of like, you know, go off. But because I lived in this town, you know, I've been to the store a lot of times. I mean, this was actually the best store. It was a department store. It was basically Walmart. And, you know, you could play demos of games. It was really just something to do, especially if you didn't have money, just to go look at some new stuff. You know, I'm sure we've all window shopped. That's all I did when I was little. So once again, day in and day out, we would go and just get all kinds of things. We kind of just stopped hanging out after that. I don't even know why we stopped hanging out. We just like, you know, we became pretty good friends, but I mean, I don't remember if I just like came to my senses. I don't think I did, because like literally the story, I kind of just erased the story from my mind, and it was just like recently that I remembered about it. I was like, I want to talk about that because I can't believe I actually did that. I stole all of these things and I never once got caught, but yet I get caught when I go try to steal this little demo disc in a magazine. That's what I get caught for. Like, are you kidding me? And also, why didn't my mom or his mom ever question, where is this stuff coming from? Because they didn't buy it for us. I mean, I had everything that I probably wanted. Yet not once did my mom ever question, hey, I didn't buy that for you. That again just goes to show you the kind of parents and the kind of life that we had. You know, even Jamie. It's just so stupid now that I think about it. You want to know what the kicker is? It turns out that the people working at this Walmart store were very, very horrible employees. Because when I was in high school later on, that was kind of like the dream job to have. But apparently, I found out that one of my classmates was like a manager there, or they worked there, and they were just like, they were working there for, not a manager because they were in high school, but they were working there for a long time, and they stole so many things. Apparently, it was so easy to steal from there. But the thing is, they would steal game consoles, the newest game consoles. They would have it, they would steal it. They were stealing a ton of stuff, and eventually they got caught. And I think that was what was happening for a very, very long time. Now, another thing too is this store is like basically bankrupt. There's only a few stores left. It's kind of like Blockbuster if you think about it. God rest Blockbuster's soul. That was another thing I really missed. But now because we stole so many things from there, I can't help but feel like that maybe we had some contribution to that. And for that, Walmart, even though it's not really Walmart, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for being a stupid kid. I'm sorry that my parents didn't check up on me or wonder the most basic things that a parent should wonder about their child. And that is the story on how I stole probably in at least the triple digits worth of money from stores. Yeah, don't believe everything you hear, okay? If you like the story, smash like, guys, subscribe. I would like to tell more stories like this because I do have more stories. Let me know your comments down below. Have you stolen anything on accident? Have you fallen for a story that someone told? Basically, are you stupid? I'm just kidding, guys, but leave your comments down below and let me know if you want more. All right, subscribe. Bye-bye.